Welcome back, everybody. We are back with another week of Mobile Mayhem coming at you guys. This is our first. So, Dave, in case you didn't know, this is actually Season 1 of COD Mobile that we're going into. They've decided now that it's 2021, they're just renumbering the seasons. So, there's no significance behind it other than
In-game.
In-game, yes. Season 1 of Call of Duty Mobile is here, and we do have a new weapon. Formerly known as the FAMAS, the FR556, it is a full auto version, so potentially going to be used in tonight's gameplay. Should definitely be interesting to see, but we got some good matchups for you guys. We've got an interview. Day has an amazing hat. If you guys are nice enough, he might show you his hair as well. So definitely make sure to spam the like button if you want to see Day's hair. But yeah, as far as our matchups, only 3 tonight. We had some teams, unfortunately, not able to make it. We will have Trovo Mayhem getting plus 10 points as a result of Aura DQing. B, I am currently loading in on my blue stick, so I will, or game loop, so I'll accept one of those whenever I get in on there. But we do have Nova Invictus versus Nova Imperium. Big pickup that you guys will see soon coming for Nova Imperium. Strike Zone versus Eleventy in game number 2, and Xset versus NL Esports in game number 3. So definitely going to make for a good one. Taking a look at our standings real quick. You can see NL Esports very, very high up. They got that additional 5 points for taking out Trovo Mayhem. So they're currently up at the top of Division 1, which is looking to be the more competitive one of the two. And currently, anybody's game over in Division 2, Zygnus, Nova Imperium, and Tribe Gaming all tied at 20. And not really a whole lot of competition for those teams. So definitely looking forward to see how these teams match up. Which matchup are you looking forward to, Dave?
Honestly, I think this first one should be pretty good. We've seen Nova Invictus struggle a little bit in the opening couple weeks, but again, a lot of the teams are letting me know, these guys are performing really strongly in the scrims. So I'm really hoping that they show up and bring their A game today up against Imperium, because I really feel like this should be a really good matchup. Right off the bat, we'll be able to see that change that you were mentioning as well, Bobby. So that should be a pretty exciting roster change here for Imperium, and honestly, this team just gets more stacked every season.
Yep. B, you can invite me again. I actually have not been able to get logged into the game with my regular account, so I'm going to invite my alt account, Sniper God 82. So don't kick out Sniper God 82, and then I'll go ahead and leave on that account. All right, should be good to go. Yes, Day did get, I think chat is now very, very intrigued about your haircut, Day.
Well, maybe. We'll see.
All right. Well, looking forward to seeing how these teams match up. We got most of our players loaded in for Nova versus Nova game number 1. Just waiting on one more player for Nova Imperium. We should be good to go. Taking a look at the maps and the bans for our first matchup, as you guys will see right here. Why is it not showing the background? Or maybe we never had a background there? I don't even know. It's definitely not showing the background. I'm going to see if I can get that figured out, but in the meantime, Hackney Yard Hardpoint is going to be game number 1. Nova Invictus banning the Man-O-War and Hardpoint on Crash. Game number 2 is going to be Raid, Search, and Destroy. As you can see, Nova Imperium banned Hardpoint on Scrapyard. They banned the ASM-10, so we will likely be seeing a lot of DRHs in play, and then game 3, if we go to it, is going to be Firing Range Domination. So as far as buffs and nerfs for this season, interestingly enough, there are almost no buffs and nerfs outside of the DRH, the Man-O-War, and the ASM-10. And the buffs and nerfs on those were not really significant enough to change the meta at all. If anything, it just made the Man of War more viable. So, yeah, we're probably going to see like a continuous rotation of those 3 guns being banned, and probably just about nothing else. Those are the existing 3-shot weapons, especially 3-shot ARs in the game. I am interested to see how the SKS is going to play in later on in the season. I know it's a 1-tap to the head and a 2-shot to the upper body, so it could potentially be competitively viable if we are if the players are feeling up to the accuracy and everything else. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one make its debut. Don't know a whole lot about the FR556 since it just came into the game, but still waiting on everything else, so hopefully we'll be able to get our players loaded in right here. And I think it may actually be a 4v5. Is that correct?
That would be not pleasant.
I
know
there's a player banned for Nova Imperium. I don't know if that means they have to play without a player.
They should have additional folks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but
let me double check their roster, because I'm pretty sure they should have extra folks. Yeah, so currently we've got obviously High not in here because of reasons. We're also missing Hacks and Wally, so they're both players that are normally here every week, so it would be really odd for both of them to not show up, so maybe they're just running a couple minutes late.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. If any of the admins say anything in Discord, let me know. I can't actually switch over to there, but
Zim did just confirm it is a 4 versus 5. So
all
that's
right,
hecka interesting.
Admins, I think we do need to change it to hardpoint on Hackney Yard.
I agree.
So I think once we get that changed, we've got all of our players in here. So we should be good to go hopping into game number 1 once bye-bye re-readies, and we are good. I think
we should be good to go. Except for not hardpoint on random. That probably would not work out well.
Uh-huh. I mean, if we get really lucky, but I don't want to take the chance, so. We are going to be playing 250 point, and keep in mind we only have 3 games tonight instead of 4, so it won't be quite as long, but definitely still going to be fun to watch. And hopefully by Thursday's matchups, each of the teams will have a little bit better feel for everything. I already see people in chat complaining that this season's terrible. I hate this season when the season came out 20 minutes ago, so I don't know how you can have that strong of an opinion about something that you've had 20 minutes to experience, but hopefully some
people
fixes.
Don't like change.
Yeah, that's true. People don't like change. And there's also some people that'll just complain about everything, regardless of whether or not it's good. So it's the way that the internet works.
Yeah, pretty much, but I guess while we're waiting to get into this game, we'll go ahead and just do a quick recap real quick of any of the rules that have changed for Season 5 of Mobile Mayhem for anybody who's maybe a little bit late to the party. All gun skins, common to legendary, are allowed. Operators, the Transform Shield, Hive, and Ballistic Shield are banned, and then 1 unique operator per team, so no 6 Annihilators here. The only weapon we have banned is the NA-45. Lethals, Trip Mines, Molotovs, and Thermites are banned. Score streaks, UAV, counter UAV, care package, hunter killer are all banned, and 2 drone RC cars per team. Akimbo is banned, just the attachment in general. And then the banned perks are Persistence and Tracker. And then obviously, as Bobby was just mentioning to you guys, Hardpoint is now to a 250 score limit with a time of 600. Domination is to a 100 score limit per round with a time of 300. We have the addition of Hackney Yard and Scrap Yard to our map rotation.
Yeah, we can see Nova Imperium obviously struggling in the 4v5 off the start, but Bye-Bye making some big plays right there. I think the game audio may be a tad loud, so I'm going to lower it. Probably because I am on a different account, so We'll get that decreased a little bit, and hopefully that's a little bit more bearable. Nova Imperium actually getting time on the hill. If they end up winning this one, I think that's a pretty big vote of confidence for them. Obviously, players pushing in the backside. Lewis and, I believe, Saxy able to get the push in right there. Retaking control of the hard point, but opening things up for Nova Imperium to make the rotation. Obviously, the DRH not banned for this matchup, and we do have Vitaly for Nova Imperium actually up on the inside of P2 for the time being. He's got that LK-24, a lot of viability when it comes to range, so that could potentially open things up. He's actually going to win the gunfight on to Lewis, and staying alive for right now. We do see Decipher pushing up as well, but Vitaly is not missing a shot. 4 kills on the board for him, and despite the one-man disadvantage, we do have Nova Imperium continuing to take upward.
And this is really such a, not even a full-out roster for Imperium here, with the likes of Wally and High missing, who are 2 repeat phenomenal players. And I wouldn't say that Imperium are making it look easy, but the fact that it is 44-44 right now on second hardpoint is definitely a pretty solid case for just how strong this Nova Imperium lineup is. Nova Invictus, a team that, you know, again, does seem to struggle on game day despite doing exceptionally well in their, why am I drawing a blank here on the word, their scrims. So hopefully we'll get to see them bring a little bit more of their A game to the table and bring some more competition between some of these teams, especially with how exciting last week was, Bobby. I mean, we had some just crazy games in our last week, and this game, as close as it is right now for a 4v5, is definitely a at least interesting way to start off our Tuesday games, as Forsaken picks up a kill on to Westy there. Don't know if it's going to be enough to help the team make a break over to point, and Nova Invictus are starting to rack up quite a lead. Desi picks up a big double kill for the team there, and it looks like this whole hardpoint pretty much is going to go over to Invictus.
Yeah, we had Forsaken making a nice push onto P2, and he's actually able to get the one-man break to get some additional time, but since then, things have just not been going the way of Nova Imperium. He's only picked up 1 kill since then. Vitaly has slowed down. Swag still stuck down at 2 kills, and right now, they really seem to have lost most of their momentum. They're going to, I mean, honestly, it'll come down to they got to win their gunfights if they want that to happen. Lewis is going to beam Vitaly out of bottom of that main building, and you can see the operators starting to come online for this Nova Invictus team as well. They're very well set up on yes, this is P4, and obviously Decipher going to pick up a bunch of easy kills with that Annihilator. Vitaly finds a couple, one onto Saxy with the War Machine, and Saxy is able to get the trade with the Sparrow right there. Bye-bye looking to make the push in. Is able to win the gunfight. That's actually a beautiful 3-piece for them, and Nova Imperium going to be able to get some hill time, but Parrish immediately pulls out the War Machine, shuts things down despite the nice push from Bye-Bye. Forsaken has started to turn things up a little bit right here, moving up to 12 kills on the board. Finds another one right there onto Decipher. Does have an unfortunate miss, but it looks like right now Nova Invictus handling things pretty easily.
Yeah, it started off looking like a pretty easy game, but the 4v5 definitely getting to Imperius here. They're down 100 points at this point, and Nova Invictus definitely looking to make the rotations over, and they are going to be the first on the next hardpoint as well, which will just really help them extend their lead. They did have a couple players get dropped there, though, and we'll have to make that rotation once again across the map. I think it is currently only Lewis on point. He did pick the kill on the Swag, picks up the 3rd, picks up the 4th, and it is all Lewis in the feed right now, helping carry this Nova Invictus team to victory. They're sitting up, you know, about 70 points right now away from a win, so the remainder of this hard point, and then if they're able to get a good control onto P1 for the second rotation, they very well may close things out with about a 200-point lead. As again, the 4 versus 5 really just weighing down on the side of Imperius right now. They're struggling to get any sort of momentum that they had in the early stages of this game. And that's definitely a rough spot to be in, but when you have players that don't show up, you have players that don't show up.
Yep.
That is on you.
Yep, and as you can see, the 150-point lead started to form right here for Nova Invictus, and looking like more than likely they'll be able to close things out in the next couple hard points. Obviously, the remaining Nova Imperium players doing everything that they can, but Swag is a player that typically shines most in Search and Destroy, and we're definitely seeing that right now. Only 5 kills on the board for him, and if you want a shot at winning a 4v5, you just gotta get more out of your players when it comes to the respawns. I'm not sure what's happening for Decipher right here. I don't think the game is supposed to look like that. He's gonna find a frag, and it looks like we will at least be going to a P2, which means there's a shot that Nova Imperium could pull off the comeback right here. But still a very, very long way to go for them, as we do have Bye-Bye up top, looking to make the rotation on over to P2, but as you can see, Nova Invictus players already getting ready to get set up.
Yeah, and Nova Invictus, they've been looking a lot more alive since the first hardpoint or two, where things didn't look like they were going great for them, but the feed right now is all Nova Invictus, specifically Desi rocking 21 kills, Parrish not far behind with 19, Lewis down at 16, but the control over the hardpoints that we've seen from him has just been absolutely phenomenal. Again, you do have to boil some of this down to the fact that it is a 4 versus 5. But even in that sense, the gunfights alone, Nova Invictus are actually winning a lot on that front as well. So definitely keep an eye out going into Search and Destroy, which is where we expect a little bit more play coming out of the side of Imperium. But again, this 4 versus 5 may be a difficult situation for them to overcome. However, I think you're at a little less of a disadvantage being 4 versus 5 in Search and Destroy as opposed to Hardpoint or Domination. So,
yeah, hopefully the Search and Destroy will be a little more competitive. Definitely expecting Swag to have a bigger pull on the impact of the game, so that should even things out, but he was just not able to get into a rhythm. Obviously, Forsaken and Vitali had pretty strong starts, but they definitely slowed down pretty significantly after that second hardpoint. And really after that, it was all Nova Invictus, as we do have Decipher going 24-13. Solid game for him. Lewis and Parrish all had very, very solid games. And Lewis with 3 minutes and 22 seconds on the hill. Not a bad showing for him. We'll wait for our players to ready up, and hopefully pretty soon here we'll be good to hop into game number 2, which is going to be Search and Destroy on Raid.
I just was able to see on the stream playback, Bobby, the Desi being, it looked like he was glitched in the box.
Yeah.
That's wild to watch.
Okay.
That's pretty funny.
Man's really in the game right now.
Hopefully we will be able to get the ball rolling pretty quick for you guys to get us into our Search and Destroy matchup. Again, that is typically where the Imperium roster as a whole shines a little bit more. Swag definitely struggling in the respawns, at least as far as switching to phone goes. He's always been a phenomenal player. But moving here into our Season 5, still doing pretty strongly in Search and Destroy, still able to make a pretty big impact with the sniper. So those picks a little bit more important as players obviously don't respawn. And when you're already in a situation potentially for a 4 versus 5 in Search and Destroy, being able to get an early pick and even things off would be a really, really strong play coming out of Swag. So we'll have to see if that is enough to make the difference. And I mean, honestly, Vitali moving on over to the Nova Imperium roster has been just such a phenomenal player this season as well. So that has been really exciting. So hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more competition between these two teams. It started off great in Hardpoint, and then it very, very quickly went in favor of Nova Invictus.
Yeah. For those of you who are asking, no, Trovo Mayhem is not playing tonight, so the team they were supposed to play is Aura. Aura is actually being removed from the league as they have currently used up all of their roster substitutions and have already lost players from the final roster lock team. So because they were not able to get a solidified team, they will be replaced in future weeks. I'm not sure if that new team will be here on Thursday or whether it will be next Tuesday, but You guys will get to see that team playing soon. Obviously, that was supposed to be our 4th matchup of the night, which is why we do have 3 games tonight instead of 4. I didn't get to say it in the game, but Little B do appreciate the raid. Thank you for that. Sorry that your team didn't get to play, but I guess it means you get to take the night off, so go.
You need to join us for some mobile mayhem as a spectator.
And Cyber with the raid as well. I appreciate it, my guy. Next game is going to be Raid Search and Destroy. So just waiting for our players to get their screenshots submitted and readied up. And at that point, we should be good to go. For those of you wondering what all the matches are for the rest of the night, in case you didn't see them, next game will be Eleventy versus Strike Zone, followed by NL Esports versus XSET. So definitely keeping an eye out for NL. They've been doing really, really well so far this season. Currently up above every other team. And Eleventy definitely making a good showing as well. I mean, if they were in Division 2, they'd be tied for first place. So it's unfortunate that they are in by far the most competitive division, but at the same time, they definitely have a shot at fighting for one of those top spots. And right now, Nova Invictus looking like they could fight for one of those top spots. Obviously, they are going in a 4v5, but definitely still looking really, really good right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if there's a situation where the 4 versus 5 is not going to hurt them as much, it's definitely where they have to make the move here in Search and Destroy. So again, ideally we'll get to see some big plays coming out of Swag for Search and Destroy, potentially pushing us to a game 3. Imperium, I definitely think, would struggle once again in the respawn, just based off of how prevalent map control is for the respawn instead of just specifically winning the gunfights. So that is definitely something to keep in mind, even if we go to a game 3. But honestly, I would love to have seen this been a 5 versus 5, especially with, again, not only is it the 4 versus 5 disadvantage that Imperium are playing against, Invictus is a team that we've again been told time and time again, hey, these guys are performing, these guys have picked it up for the scrims, they're doing great with the transition to phone, since they made it obviously in previous seasons for the champs competition. So that is an important thing to make note, is they have a little bit of an edge in the experience on the device, which is great. And we saw them struggle in the first couple of weeks, but the gun skill today, rivaling up against the names like Vitali, Swag, Forsaken, and Bye Bye, that's a big jump in skill that we've seen from them in the first couple of weeks. So I don't know if it was nerves moving on into Season 5 or what, but hopefully we'll get to see Nova Invictus play a little bit more like this moving into the upcoming weeks with some more even more difficult competition.
Yeah, there were a lot of competitive teams saying that Nova Invictus was really going to be a force to be reckoned with this season, and it hadn't really seemed like that a ton so far. So I'm hoping that we do continue to see this out of them. We do have Nova Imperium on the offensive, as you can see right here. Swag got the sniper out overlooking the B-bomb site as he does make that rotation on over to Statue. And we do have Parrish up in top laundry. Swag actually doesn't spot him. Parrish, unfortunately, not going to be able to hit that shot, and that'll allow them to get the B plant down. I thought I saw a trophy go down, so I'm not sure how that grenade exploded, but regardless, all of Nova Imperium still alive, yet to find a pick. Everybody rotating top laundry side right here as Saxy does find a frag onto Bye Bye, but 2 big kills coming in for Nova Imperium. Swag finds one onto Lewis, and suddenly they've got a man advantage right here as Westy and Parrish would like to close things out. Westy, who struggled in game 1, making some big plays right there. He's now in a 1v1, but Vitali with the sniper in hand is going to be able to clutch it right there, and it will be Nova Imperium taking round 1.
And this is exactly why in Search and Destroy, having that player disadvantage, while again, it is a kind of fill in the gap a little bit just by winning those gunfights, finding the picks, which we obviously saw Vitali do phenomenal there. He got a great opening pick, was able to follow it up with a pistol whip as well, getting another kill, and then obviously closing out the third with the quick scope. So that was a great start for them, but Saxy actually able to pick up a big kill onto Vitali. That is a phenomenal opening pick. Saxy survives from the hit marker. and a couple trades going on over, but it's a 4 versus 2 advantage. Make it a 4 versus 1 is now Swag is alone. Does trade for Saxy, but Westy gonna pick up the kill onto Swag and even things up 1-1.
Yep, definitely well played by both teams. Obviously, Nova Imperium not quite able to find the picks that they needed right there to be able to make that happen. And like you said, in Search and Destroy, a lot of times, I mean, at the end of the day, all you got to do is find first blood every round, and suddenly you're in a 4v4. Now, that's a very big if, but when you got snipers like Swag and Vitaly on your team, it is absolutely possible. Unfortunately for Nova Imperium, they've already got 2 players dropped off, but as you can see, some big plays coming in. Vitaly is going to be left all by himself. Pulls the sniper out, but he did it a little bit too late. Saxy was waiting at the top of the stairs. 2 rounds in a row going over to Nova Invictus.
Yeah, and Invictus are definitely playing their strong suit here, but we do see Imperium picking up kills, and very, very narrowly have Invictus even won the rounds that they did win. Like I think round 2 was a 2 versus 1 finish when they picked up the kill onto Swag. That last one as well did not look super clean considering it was a 4 versus 5. But again, the big opening pick they had onto Vitaly was absolutely huge for them. We do have Saxy sitting in the back of basketball court, is going to get slid on by Bai. That is going to be a big opening pick for the side of Nova. Swag, I believe, took a couple hit markers there, but he will survive, and he will get the plant down. Now it's a 4 versus 4 with bomb planted. Nova Invictus forced to play against the clock here. Definitely a great play from Nova Imperium to put the pressure on. Again, it's one thing to have to win a 4 versus 5, but when you find early picks, it definitely helps even things out. Swag gets a trade there. Lewis for himself. Westy picks up another kill. Desi comes through with a big one on Dubai.
Ooh, he gets the kill and the hit marker right there. Vitaly does, but Parrish slides on through, does end up getting the shotgun kill right there. It is going to be 3 rounds in a row going over to Nova Invictus. I'm going to be honest, I think Nova Imperium could have very well won that round. I don't like that challenge by Forsaken. Trying to challenge a sniper when he's on low ground, he doesn't have any head glitch to work with. He's only got an AR going up against a sniper. Typically, that's just not going to end up going your way, especially when you are going against this level of competition. So I'd like to see him improve on that decision-making a little bit. We do actually see a very aggressive A-push once again, as we do have Nova Imperium pushing up everybody over poolside. No first blood yet. Swag really would like to find one right here, and just barely does not have the angle onto Saxy, but we got 3 players about to push in at the same time. Vitaly finds the first blood. Swag follows it up. He finds a frag as well, and just like that, Nova Imperium. A man advantage, and it looks like the bomb is going to go down onto the A site. Westy on the top side looking to find the pick right here. He's not going to have the angle, but Swag does. Another big kill for him. Bye finds one onto Lewis. It's going to be Parrish all by himself with a shotgun in hand. He's not going to be able to win the gunfight. And Nova Imperium bouncing back after a 3-round streak for Invictus, moving things to 3-2.
And that's a big answer back for Imperium there. Swag, once again, we expect him to perform well in Search and Destroy, and so far that has been the case. 5 kills on the board for him. Vitaly with 6. That's going to tie up Westy over on the side of Invictus. So always fun to see these kind of sister teams go up against each other, both obviously underneath the Nova tag. Swag picks up a big frag literally onto Lewis there.
That was, I don't even know how he managed to get that in there, but that was definitely a high value nade. As we do have Nova Imperium taking a man advantage once again, even with a player down, showing that they can hold their ground against a 5-man Nova Invictus team. Again, here, the Arctic 50 shots from Westy trying to find a frag over onto basketball court, but unfortunately for him, there is nobody over there. Desi is going to be able to take out Swag, and that is a really big frag. Bye-bye is going to get taken out as well. Vitaly's all by himself in a 1v2 right here, and definitely a much-needed round for Nova Imperium, especially given that they had a 1-man advantage and now finding themselves at a disadvantage. Would be a big loss were they to not be able to clutch up this one. He had the angle, but not able to land shots onto Westy, now pushing up. Pretty risky push right here, and trying to find the angle, won't be able to spot the planter right there. Hard scoping over that statue area, and now gonna get pushed. Decipher's gonna slide the corner. Nova Invictus bounces back, and they take the round and move to 4-2.
Yeah, and it is starting to look like we are getting into a 2-0 victory realm for Nova Invictus. Now, obviously, we've seen signs of life every single round. I mean, even the rounds that Nova Invictus have won, I mean, again, that last round was not super clean, boiling down to a 2 versus 1 where anything could have happened. The 2 versus 1 clutch, obviously, very, very possible, especially for a team like Invictus, but, Imperium, but Invictus did make an incredibly fast plant there. We do have a double kill picked up for the side of Imperium, traded out for bye-bye, so that's going to even things up to a 3-3, but 30 seconds on the clock. Imperium have to find a triple kill and a defuse. Swag is going to make it a little bit easier as he picks up the kill onto Lewis. Now a 3-2.
Yep, Nova Imperium staying alive right here. Forsaken finds a big kill. Decipher gets the trade up on the top side. Vitali's still down on the site. It looks like he's actually going to get the defuse, and Swag makes sure that it happens right there. He's going to land the snipe on the Decipher on the top side, and Nova Imperium continues to stay alive as they do win things right there and move things within one round of this Nova Invictus team. Big contributions from everybody. Swag, as expected, performing a lot better than he did in the respawn. I think already has as many kills as he had in the respawn, which is not something you see a whole lot in Search and Destroy, but we know he's got that sniper ability, and he's letting it show right now. Looks like Lewis going to go ahead and put the bomb down over on the B site. It will go through, and now the pressure is on for Nova Imperium once again. One player peeking that side laundry angle. Westy taking out Swag. That's going to make things exponentially more difficult for this Nova Imperium team. Another player drops. Bye-bye and Vitali, the only players left standing, and with Parrish on the outside of laundry right there, just not a whole lot of options for Vitali. He's actually going to hit a beautiful quick scope onto Parrish, but unfortunately does end up getting taken out, as does his teammate, and it is now match point for Nova Invictus.
Yeah, and Nova Imperium, they're putting up a great fight here, but all they're really doing at this point, if they do end up getting into a game 3, I definitely think while they have the potential to make the 3-round comeback here, moving into a map like Domination where so much objective and point control is just so necessary, it's definitely going to be difficult for them to try to pull together a game 3 win. Obviously, you'd love to see it for the competition's sake, as we do have Vitali getting a hit marker. Ooh. Does find the second shot onto the foot, picks up 1 kill. It hit markers Parrish there. Parrish walking through the sniper duo there, finds Vitali, finds Swag, and it is now bye-bye and Forsaken up against Parrish. Obviously, very, very doable for the Imperium roster here, but they still, again, would need 2 additional rounds on top of this win here to push us to a game 3. We'll have to see if they're able to pull things together. Parrish trying his hardest to be quiet again, team. We did have some nerfs to Dead Silence not too long ago, and a lot of that is going to be reflected here in these games. The only player on Nova Invictus rocking Dead Silence is Saxy, and likewise Vitali for the side of Imperium, the only one to rock Dead Silence. Well, Parrish picked up 1, unable to find the second, though.
Bye-bye, very nearly. That was very dangerous. Or I think it was Saxy that was alive. Or no, it was Parrish that was alive right there. Could have potentially won that if he had been able to get on the outside of the cubby, but they do have bye-bye. Barely able to get the kill, and Nova Imperium continues to stay alive. We have a very aggressive B push right here, as it looks like the entirety of Nova Invictus pushing up to the B site. Smokes out all around. Not a whole lot of options for the snipers of Nova Imperium. Swag does spot 1 player. Has the trigger discipline to not take the shot when he knows he doesn't have the angle, and now the pressure's on. A Colette! Swag just landed a Colette onto Lewis and Parrish. What a shot by him. Things opening up for Nova Imperium once again. 2 players on site. They're trying to find frags right here. Swag trying to pin him down. Vitali finds one onto Decipher. Saxy gets a trade onto Vitali. Bye-bye, taking out Westy. The pressure is on for Saxy. Swag turns around, doesn't hit the initial shot, but bye-bye. Finds the frag, and Nova Imperium stays alive just a little bit longer as we go to round 11.
Yeah, round 11 in a 4 versus 5 is a big feat here for the side of Nova Imperium. And not only that, this is going to give them the opportunity to have bomb as well. So even though they're down a player, they do have the added benefit of they can send their entire team one direction or the other. Looks like they were originally looking like maybe an A plant was going to be their option, but they have since made the rotation a little bit back into spawn here. Have to see what they end up doing with it. They might just be looking for that opening pick, but in round 11 against the clock with only 90 seconds left, definitely a rough spot, but a doable position for the side of Nova Imperium. We do have Forsaken quite far into the map, just kind of chilling. Honestly, they're just at this point looking for any sort of mistake that they can capitalize on of the Invictus team, but the Invictus team seem pretty content here to just play D, and honestly, that's all you got to do. 60 seconds, and Nova have to, or Imperium have to not only get a plant, but then they have to defend as well against a 4 versus 5. So rough spot to be in if you are Imperium. You're very likely going to peek a corner in which you really don't need to be doing right now.
Yeah, you can see Swag's trying to find a snipe right here. Saxy on the inside of basketball court, not giving any angles to the attempted push from this Nova Imperium team, and it looks like with only 30 seconds to work with, they're going to go ahead and full send. Forsaken finds a huge frag onto Saxy. Things opening up. They've only got 26 seconds to plant, but it looks like the plant is going to go in. We now have Swag holding from bottom side. Misses a shot onto Lewis. He needed to get that. Nova Imperium really hurting right now. With him dropping off, they're at a man disadvantage. They can still defend the site, but they've pushed very aggressively up into bank room with 2 players dropping. Forsaken, the only player alive. He's going to need to get back to site. The defuse was starting. He's not going to be able to hit the shots. Nova Invictus avoids disaster right there. They're going to be able to get the defuse, and it will be Nova Invictus with the 2-0 sweep to give them the 20 points for today.
It was very nearly a game 3, which would have been a really rough position to be in for Invictus. Going into a 4 versus 5 at this level of competition, you would like to think that should be a free 20 points.
Yeah.
So that was very close to disastrous. Again, I would have absolutely hands down given Invictus to a domination matchup just due to having the extra player for map control. But you know, again, when it boils down to points in a Division 1 that is so competitive and a Division 2 that has been struggling, those extra 10 points for getting the 2-0 victory are super important for Invictus at this point. Again, especially as a team that coming into Season 5, being a primary phone team that did so well in Champs, you expect to see them towards the top here, and they've definitely been struggling a little bit in the opening season. I would go as far as to say their gun skill alone for today was exceptionally higher than we've seen out of them so far in Season 5. So super happy to see them come to life a little bit here. And hopefully they'll play with that level of intensity and fire moving into Thursday's matches as well as the rest of the season. Nova Imperium, great fight for that search and destroy matchup. All the way pushed it to a game 11, down a player, and down big players too. I mean, you look at the likes of Wally and High, and who was their other player that was missing? Wally, High, and Hacks missing. I mean, those are no shy names to the Mobile Mayhem competitive scene. So for them to push us all the way into a game 5, and then honestly, unfortunately for the side of Nova Imperium, I really think that boiled down to Swag missing that snipe onto Westy at the end of that last round. I mean, if he would have landed that shot, that very likely was Nova Imperium pushing us to a game 3.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit surprised that Swag missed that one. That's one that he had been hitting, but definitely, regardless, a great fight from Nova Imperium.
Absolutely.
For that to even be a close game definitely shows how much skill this team has, and hopefully they'll be able to bounce back once they're able to get a full roster. Coming up for our next match, we do have Strike Zone versus Eleventy. So, working on getting those players loaded in and ready for matchup number 2. Keep in mind, we do only have 3 total matchups for tonight. as a result of Aura DQing up against Trovo Mayhem, so they will not be playing tonight, but definitely some great matchups regardless. Taking a look at the picks for this matchup. As far as bans go, Strike Zone banning Hardpoint on Scrapyard, Eleventy banning Domination on Firing Range, Strike Zone banning the Man-O-War as their gun, Eleventy banning the ASM-10. So once again, more than likely going to see a lot of DRHs in play, although we have started to see more and more off-meta guns coming in as a result of most teams banning the same thing. A good amount of LK-24s actually in the last one, which is not something that we see a whole lot. Obviously, a few players running their favorite SMGs, and always a good amount of snipers, especially in Search and Destroy as well. Game number 1 is going to be Summit Hardpoint. Game 2, Meltdown, Search and Destroy. And Game 3 is going to be, if we go to it, Raid Domination.
Yeah, definitely a exciting day ahead of us still, despite it being a little bit short, just our matchups in general. I mean, they've just been absolutely phenomenal here for Season 5. I mean, last week, we had, 3 games go to Game 3? 3 of our 4 matchups go to a Game 3, so really, really phenomenal work coming out of our teams there. For our streams today, obviously, Strike Zone up against Eleventy definitely should be a good showing as well. I think you and I both here can lean on the fact that we would expect, based off of how they performed last week, Eleventy should have an edge here over Strike Zone, but definitely going to be fun to get these guys on stream. And then to close things out, we have NL up against XSET, and NL have been in the lead in Division 1, which again has been a pretty dominant division, so they'll definitely be looking to pick up a 2-0 victory over XSET there if they can, to try to extend their lead a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be a really competitive Division 2, or Division 1. Last season, Division 2 was the competitive division, and for some reason, it just always seems to be that one of them ends up lopsided, but regardless. Oh, Day, chat wants to know what you're wearing, and also why you're wearing it.
I'm wearing a hat.
Uh-huh.
1, because it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
2, is there's an extra reason that it's cold that you guys may see after Game 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What would I have to do to get you to take off the hat?
So there's no hat in the interview.
Uh-huh. But what about right now?
We may not wear the hat when we come back from the interview.
All right, fine. If you say so. Working on getting all of our players loaded in for game number 2. I do see the one and only Noah from YouTube in chat right now. Congrats on your team's easy W tonight, sir.
your easy bye.
Easy dubs. I'm sure he's busy recording his season 1 Battle Pass video, so I'm sure he's a very busy man right now.
Yeah, Season 1 of COD Mayhem, the big reset of 2021.
The reset, and yet at the same time, they didn't even start over the ranked season. It's just the way of the road. Hopefully big things coming this year. Is everybody's still waiting on the competitive news that I'm sure everybody's looking forward to. Really, any news is good news at this point, so I've got a feeling things are coming soon. I don't have any information, but hopefully won't be too long before we hear about whatever it's titled this year. COD Champs, yeah. COD Crazies, COD Mobile Mayhem. Probably not COD Mobile Mayhem, but
World War III simulation. Chat's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Chat's pretty wild. Yeah, chat, you will discover what's under the hat. I lost a bet. But this does bring new opportunities, though, because I promised you guys last season a beard or a mustache. So at the end of this bet week, we can go to mustache week.
Woohoo! It's about time.
You will get the mustache you were promised.
About dang time. I'm gonna go grab some water real quick. I'll be right back.
Hopefully we will get you guys into the game here pretty soon. I'm being tweeted about the hat. Fantastic, guys. Chat, you're amazing. Hopefully we'll be getting guys into our second matchup of the night here soon with Strike Zone up against Eleventy. Eleventy, a team that has looked pretty solid these past couple weeks. They did struggle in their first game that we did see them up against. I believe it was Tribe. Let me double check our roster. I believe it was Tribe in our Yep, so they did struggle in the matchup versus Tribe as far as the gameplay went. They were able to pick up the win, though, due to a Tribe disqualification. So points-wise, not in a horrible spot here for the side of 11. And again, moving into a matchup with Strike Zone, a team who has potential but has absolutely struggled when it comes to game day. You would expect to see 11 putting up the Dukes here, trying to get a 2-0 victory. And obviously, Strike Zone, we're going to be looking for them to bring their A game and try to fend that off. Try to put up some good competition here for you guys. Aura, as Bobby mentioned earlier, has been unable to field a roster for the roster lock, so they will be getting replaced for the remainder of the season. So no Trovo Mayhem games for you guys tonight. We're big sad about that. Sorry, guys. But make sure you do stick around for the off-stream game, because I do believe we have Exiled up against Tribe Gaming. And I do believe maybe Zim can fill me in here, but I think we have No Fierce versus Zygnus off-stream today.
Chat says they want to see your head shine.
Well, it's not. Oh, it's been a couple days now. So this happened on Sunday. So there's some fuzz.
Chat, if you had to guess one famous TV character that Day looks like without the hat on.
That was the idea. The look was based on this character.
If you had to guess, who would you guess that it is? I will give a congratulations to whoever guesses it.
I'll give you a high five.
Through the internet, we will give you high fives.
Yeah. Through the power of the interwebs.
Yep.
We can make this happen together.
We do have everybody. Oh, very different 11D roster today. We have Vacay and Alda. I believe those are two new players for them.
Correct. They are both players we have not seen. We do still. It looks like we still have UG and Wero on the roster still, just not here for today.
Yep. We're just waiting for everybody to get their screenshots verified and everything else, and then we should be good to go for game number 2. We have a special treat for you in between matches 2 and 3. So don't go anywhere, just like somebody for Eleventy did right now. So hopefully we can get them loaded back in and be good to go.
Hopefully we will get into the game soon for you guys. Obviously, we want to get you guys into the exciting action. And we definitely get to see how kind of the backup roster for Eleventy plays here and how that is going to change things up. Because, again, they looked exceptionally strong last week, Bobby. And without the likes of Wero, who, I mean, absolute monster in Search and Destroy. And then you pair that up with just, again, the consistency that UG brings to the table for the teams that he's played for. You definitely would expect this to be a pretty big hindrance for the side of Eleventy. But it's hard to say because we haven't seen enough of this roster, specifically the subs, to know how they're going to play with that kind of handicap. Because again, when it came to search and destroy, I mean, it was Wiro in the kill feed the whole time. I think pretty much every search and destroy game he's ended double digits. So you definitely expect the side of Eleventy have to be prepared for that.
I already saw one person correctly guess what famous TV character you look like.
I also see one person who has
Yep.
correctly guessed it.
Congratulations. Your name is not family friendly, so I'm not going to say it, but I am congratulating you through the internet.
And here's your high five, bud.
All right. Just waiting for our Eleventy players to ready up, and we should be good. Yeah. I'm really hoping somebody pulls out the FR556. Obviously, you do have to level up the battle pass in order to get it, but I'm hoping like Parka did it for the content, and so because of that, we'll get to see him pull it out or something like that. Just because I myself have not gotten to use it outside of Battle Royale and want to see if it's actually going to be viable. Parka with the host, I appreciate it. If we can get some host hype in chat, I would appreciate that as well. Normal with the $2, I appreciate that as well. I'm assuming Parka ending his stream more than likely means that we should be good to go in just a second here.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get in here soon. Obviously, a lot of new things here in COD Mobile. We've got a new gun, as you mentioned. Have to level up the battle pass to get there, so maybe not going to see that too much here today, but in our future weeks, we'll definitely have to see where that weapon fits into the meta. Obviously, it's basically a full auto FAMAS, so you would expect it to be strong.
Yep.
Just with the history of the FAMAS slash what's the other similar weapon? What, Type 25? The burst fire versions of them in previous Call of Duties. Pretty difficult to make that function properly in mobile, at least so far. But we've also seen the Man of War as well, which historically has been a semi-automatic weapon, which full auto here, just with a slower rate of fire. So
I did not know
definitely
that.
workable. What was that?
I did not know that.
I think it had an attachment to full auto it in previous games. So
gotcha. All right. Yeah, just waiting. Hopefully, we'll be able to speed things up for the later games because I know you guys.
If I remember correctly, it works. Now I'm curious.
That's definitely possible. I know that. Apologies. I know there's a lot of weapons in COD Mobile that work slightly different from the way they have in past Call of Duties. I know the FAMAS also has like varying versions. I think it was in Modern Warfare 2 that it was full auto, and then in the Black Ops series it was a burst. I would have liked to see it be added as a burst just because we only have one.
It was auto with a semi select fire.
Gotcha. Wait.
And that was, at the time, that was the meta.
For some reason,
back in the day,
Day's face is not working.
Day's face is not
like
working.
Your face is fine, but for some reason OBS is not capturing it. That's the main issue.
So on my end, everything is fine. It's something going on in the land of Bobby.
Yes, because I'm pulling up Discord. Well, we had you. We just have a frozen Day with his thumbs up. Let's see.
We'll just give that thumbs up to Mr. Not So Family Friendly who guessed it properly. Yeah.
Let's see. All right, there's the stream. It won't let me pull up Discord. Let me close out window capture and see if we can't make a new one real quick. And suddenly, Discord is not an option.
Neat.
Cool. Let me... maybe pop it out. I bet you that'll work.
Hopefully.
Let's see if we pop it out right there. And
Chat loves the hat. You gotta get the hat back on stream, bud.
hey, there's Dave's face. All right, let me resize that real quick. That'll actually make things easier because now I can check Discord as well. I think.
As long as you don't minimize the window, you can run it in the background and it'll still capture. But if you minimize it, it does weird stuff.
Oh, gotcha. So then if I pull your face back...
Oh, we are into our game between Eleventy and Strike Zone. Again, we do have Wiru and Yuji on the bench this week. And in their place, we have Alda G1 and... what are we going to go with here? Vaca? Vaca?
Yes. We'll say one of those is the correct pronunciation.
One of those.
One of those is definitely correct. Looks like we are good to go. Unfortunately, or at least for the time being, nobody with the FR556 out. We do have Eleventy and Strike Zone fighting for that top spot. Parka finds a big two-piece. And that will be top control for this Eleventy team, who is off to a very strong start. Not only getting that initial hill time, but getting map control as well. Parka's going to win another gunfight. Hua pushing up the stairs, and Parka is not letting anybody pass. Everybody that gets anywhere close to the hard point immediately getting shut down by Strike Zone, who has only mustered up 3 kills so far. Parka himself all the way up to 5, and it's finally Envy taking him out from the top of the control center, but not before a lot of damage is done by this Eleventy team, as we do have Stress finally pushing into the hard point. I thought he was going to get the first second on the hill, but he wasn't able to do it. We do finally have Hua pushing down on in, and he's going to get shut down immediately as well. It's Eleventy not giving up any time to this Strike Zone team.
And Parka came out of the gate, guns blazing, picking up 6 kills for himself. However, Envy on the side of Strike Zone not doing too bad for himself. 4 on the board for him. I believe he's rocking the chopper. Yep, he is rocking the chopper. So, weapon that we have seen time and time again do exceptional in the COD mobile scene. But for the most part, man, this has been Eleventy just locking down control. As I say that, Strike Zone find a couple phenomenal kills there, get themselves a little bit of a break on the point, but Zai and Just are ready to go and are able to pick up the kills when the team needs them there. And they make the break back on the point is the big question. These first 2 hard points on Summit, no surprise, being a little bit even and or back and forth. It's really moving into P3 and P4 that we'll have to be keeping an eye specifically on the map. We'll have to be keeping an eye out for who is going to be the anchor runners on both of these teams, as well as who is going to pick those up for them. It does look like for the side of Strike Zone, we have Stress trying to make the rotation upside, or at least rather he was before he got cut off by Eleventy, and that looks like Eleventy should have pretty strong control of the respawn anchor. The entire team of Strike Zone being forced to respawn all the way across the map. And, I mean, they have essentially 1 push, and they need to make it quick if they're going to try to break P3 here. If not, honestly, fall back, set up for P4, try to cut off the anchor from Eleventy. Because, man, this feed is Eleventy left and right. Specifically, Parka, 13 kills on the board. Make it 14 as he picks up another one onto Saints. Strike Zone still have control so far of the P4 anchor, but there's a lot of opportunity as we do see the side of Eleventy are actually not making hillside rotation. They are going across the walkway trying to pick up the anchor on that side. I think this is a really smart rotation out of them, and if they're able to win the fight, they may pick up anchor, but Envy and Jason put a little bit of a stop to that.
And right now, Parka showing the HVK might not have been nerfed as much as everybody thought it was, as he's currently got full streaks. He's not able to get the break right there, but 17 kills on the board. Absolutely dominating this lobby. Got a sentry gun and a Goliath to work with, and even with his team up a good amount, definitely going to get some good value out of that, as we are going to 250 instead of 150. Likely see that sentry gun set up pretty soon right here, and actually pulls out the Annihilator. Does actually get immediately shut down by Stress. That's a big frag for Strike Zone, as that's probably going to allow them to get the rest of this scrap time on P4, and that will allow them to set up for P1 as well. You can see Jason actually gets his Pred missile online, not going to be able to win the gunfight against Alda, and that will allow Eleventy to now set up for P1 as they have both teams now rotating back. It's going to be very, very difficult for the Strike Zone team to get a break in.
Fortunately for Strike Zone, however, they were able to get a big helping of points onto P4 there. Moving into P1 and P2 for our second half, Eleventy definitely had a little bit more control, and you would expect moving through that they would be able to maintain control, but and be able to pick up a kill onto Parka there, definitely going to help his team out. And they do get their break onto point. They're sitting about 30 points down under Eleventy right now, but with operators and kill streaks on the board, we do have Parka rocking the sentry gun and the Goliath ready to go. You definitely expect to see him probably, with the situation that we're in, I would like to see Parka hold that Goliath for a P3 hold and not try to burn it on a P2. But we will have to see how he decides to use that. He's the pro player. I am the person watching from the sideline. So.
Yeah, and despite the struggle for Saints so far, Strike Zone's been able to play this very well. They're making their rotations, and especially following the beginning of the game, Eleventy has slowed down a lot. Parka had moved up to 17, and since then has only been able to find 2. A lot of players stuck down below that 10 kill mark, while Strike Zone has pretty consistently been finding scrap points here and there. They got a really big hold on P4, and all around have just been playing this very, very well. So looking like it's going to be a much closer matchup than it seemed it might be off the start. It is going to be Eleventy pushing up into the hill, Alda taking control with the QXR in hand, and it looks like Strike Zone may very well go ahead and set up for P3. They're not trying very hard to push in right here, which on one hand I kind of like it, but at the same time, 40 seconds is a lot of free hill time to get up. We do actually have a player on the backside pushing in. As I say that, Hua gets a really big one-man break. What that does, it not only interrupts the hill time for this Eleventy team, but it also allows his teammates to maintain their position as they're trying to control spawns and the rotations on over to P3.
Yeah, and this would be absolutely great for the side of Strike Zone. This actually would have been a pretty solid time for Parka to go ahead and pull out the Goliath, knowing where the side of Strike Zone were anchored in, but is going to be the sentry gun drop. Parka nearly gets dropped there. Definitely something got to be a little bit cautious about, as again, we have Strike Zone anchored really far back in the respawn. Saints is going to make the rotation in. Picks up the kill onto Parka, but it is Eleventy winning out the trade there, I believe, as we had Zion Vaca picking up a couple kills there. NB is going to return some kills, and this might actually be control going over to the side of Strike Zone. So again, this is kind of why I would have liked to see the Goliath come out of Parka there. They knew that Strike Zone were anchored in the back. They weren't making the push back on to P2. And instead we dropped a sentry gun, sat in a corner, and got bodied in a double kill coming through for Envy there. That might have been enough to pull spawn for Strike Zone. Strike Zone might have a P4 control here if they make the rotation over. You see Saints coming on through. Zai way in the back, holding anchor as best as he can for the team, but as far as P4 goes, this is a 5 versus 3 rotation in. Envy picks up 1, Hua picks up 2, Saints and Stress each picking up 1 as well. This is a massive break here for Strike Zone, Bobby.
Yeah, that was a really awkward P3. It didn't go quite as well as I'm sure Strike Zone would have hoped, but the fact that they were actually able to get control back was really huge for them. And like you said, this push on over looked very, very simple, and especially with the sentry gun going on in for Envy right here. We've seen him really, really cooking in the second half of this game. Strike Zone's been able to set up really well. We actually see one Eleventy player just waiting for his teammates to make the rotation, giving some additional free time, as Just does end up getting the kill right there. Hua actually doesn't hear the shots because of the silencer on the HVK. And as a result, he's able to stay alive for a little bit longer. Envy continuing to put the team on his back. 24 kills as we do see this strike zone actually taking the lead. With the way this game started, I thought there wasn't a shot, but Envy has been putting in really good work, and we do finally see Parka hopping into that Goliath. Like you said, probably could have gotten a lot better value out of that on P3, and trying to get it into P1 is going to be an absolute nightmare right now.
Yeah, definitely a rough situation to be in, especially with P2 being just 30 seconds away. While there is some indoor capabilities for that, there is also a lot of potential score streaks that we could see come down, and a Pred missile will knock a Goliath out. Being susceptible to a War Machine can knock a Goliath out in no time. We do see Envy right now about halfway to his Tempest, another really big tool for a Goliath that you really want set up inside the objective if at all possible. It is once again the lead going in favor of Eleventy as we do roll into our third splash of P2. We'll have to see if they can maintain control for 9 seconds on point, but this game still very well within grasp for Strike Zone if they can catch a break here. But 3 members of Eleventy on and Hua getting dropped there is starting to look pretty grim. Parka picks up one, Zai picks up another, Alda picks up a third, and that is going to be game 1 between Eleventy and Strike Zone. Much, much closer, in all honesty, than I had anticipated, Bobby. So I'm glad to see the competition was here for today, and it should be an exciting search and destroy matchup that we have coming up ahead of us as well between these two teams. Again, one of the big hindrances here for Eleventy moving into search and destroy is how strong of a search player Wiro has proven to be for this roster, and he's unavailable to play here today. So can they pull through? I mean, again, that was much closer than I would have expected coming out of Strike Zone, a team who struggled to get points on the board last season.
Yeah, that was honestly, Strike Zone could have won that if they had put really any effort into trying to take down the damage on Parka's Goliath. They probably could have eliminated it in like a matter of 15 seconds, but they let that thing stay alive for the entire last 2 minutes of the game, and as a result, it was an easy win for them, as all he had to do was march on through the bottom of Control Center, and boom, you're in the middle of P2, and by the time Strike Zone really put any effort into throwing their FHJs at it to try to take down the damage, it was a little bit too late. So I'm definitely expecting this to be a very competitive search and destroy. Like you said, Wiru has been by far the biggest factor for Eleventy when it comes to search and destroy. It's so odd because he struggled so much in the respawns and has been so dominant in the search and destroy. So they'll definitely be missing him in game number 2. We'll see if their subs are able to pull through right here as we do get ready to hop in. For those of you who are wondering what the maps are, in case you missed it, it is going to be firing range, search and destroy. And if we go, wait, that's the old one. I'll wait and see what game number 2 is whenever the mod, and it is going to be Meltdown, search and destroy.
Meltdown, definitely an interesting map. It's specifically in the fact that it's a map that offers very, very different playstyles depending on which side the offensive team tries to take as far as where they're going to plant. The B side offers, honestly, just straight out range. If you have a strong sniper on the team that you expect to out-snipe the enemy, you would absolutely expect that team to push their advantage over B. There's a lot of long sight ranges up the pathway there. And moving over into the A side is very, very different. It's all close range. There's pillars all over the A side, with it being in an enclosed room. So I would like to, and actually one that we've seen Eleventy use in the past, but it is typically UG that we've seen use it. In a lot of the close matchups like that, you could really optimize the use of submachine guns and really push strongly into an A side plant here on Meltdown. So it's something that I'd like to see some of the pro players adapt to a little bit more. Obviously, we see ARs kind of ruling the meta right now. But again, I feel like a lot of that bodes into the favoritism of players trying to take those long-range fights, whether I don't know if it's just feeling safer or being able to set up and try to catch someone peeking a corner. But something like the MP7, which we saw Yuji use last week, incredibly strong tool at close range. And the recoil very, very controllable for a submachine gun. So heavy struggle with the bullet drop off. But there is definitely a margin where you can compete in the mid-range game as well.
Yep, it's I mean, Search and Destroy and Meltdown is always one of those that's either incredibly competitive or it just gets really lopsided really quick, and it all comes down to strategy. I feel like both of these teams will have a pretty good idea of what their strategy is going to be. We did see, I think it was in day one, the original, or the day one Fierce roster got 6-0'd in Search and Destroy, and they just looked like chickens with their heads cut off. So that's an example of how things can go, but at the same time, when you do get two really experienced teams that know their strategy and execute it well, Search and Destroy and Meltdown is always going to be a good one. So just waiting on one Eleventy player to ready up, and we should be good to go. They will be looking to close things out in 2 games, as they would definitely love to get those 20 points for the 2-0. As you can see, they are currently at 30, but a nice 20 would bump them right up next to Nova Imperium. Or, sorry, Trovo Mayhem. The text on those is very, very small. It would bump them up next to Trovo Mayhem and ahead of Nova Invictus. We do still have XSET yet to play against NL Esports, but obviously, as you can see, NL all the way up at the top with 55, and you gotta have a feeling they're not gonna have too much trouble with XSET, but at the same time, this is a team that has continued to improve, continued to put in work, and they're always gonna give their all against whoever they go up against. So that last matchup will definitely be a good one.
Yeah, and one thing to point out for you guys, because I do see a couple people in chat asking, the slide that was flashed earlier is for our next matchup of XSET versus NL. That's why it said the ban was the DRH. The bans for the Strike Zone versus Eleventy game is the Man of War by Strike Zone and the ASM 10 by Eleventy. So Envy was not illegally using a weapon. So that was a misunderstanding on the chat, and that screen is for our, and it was labeled properly, but it is for our next matchup.
Yep.
Just to clear that up, because I do see people talking about it in chat. So, it actually looks like Eleventy, however, will DQ that first map.
Oh.
So that is actually, despite the close and narrow win by Eleventy,
due to screenshots.
Due to lack of screenshots, yes.
All right. So it's actually going to be Strike Zone taking game number 1, which means all the more reason for Eleventy to give this one their all. You can see the aggressive push on over to the B site for this Strike Zone team, as they seem pretty confident in their strategy. Slasher actually looking to go mid, and it looks like he's actually just trying to sound things out, or may have disconnected, not entirely sure. Now prone on the inside of boiler rooms, waiting for somebody to make the first move. You can see Alda over on the opposing side with the QXR in hand and trying to make the push on over. He actually sends a nade over top, but a little bit of an awkward angle. The B plant is going to go in for Strike Zone right here, as Hua is able to get that down. Yet to see any first blood for either team. As I say that, players dropping left and right. Strike Zone finds 2 big frags, and some additional pressure is on. Just finds a much needed kill. Parka with a shotgun in hand. He actually picks up the HVK, but Jason waiting on the bottom side with a sniper. That's going to be huge. Only 1 player remains. Zai's not going to be able to win the gunfight. Hua with the 2-piece to close that out, and Strike Zone will take round number 1.
That was a really strong opening for the side of Strike Zone. 5 for 2 as far as the kill trade goes. Just and Parka able to pick up a kill apiece. But man, that was a strong start for Strike Zone. Especially since the start of our last matchup on Summit did not look so great for them, but they were able to put up a good fight, able to push things down to, I think, just a 35-point difference in a matchup that we really expected Eleventy to take a pretty commanding lead, and especially after the first couple minutes. But Strike Zone were able to pick up that DQ win actually over Eleventy as well. So Strike Zone comes through as the stronger search team. They could potentially pick up a 2-0 victory over Eleventy here, and that would be, in my opinion, a pretty big upset. And it would definitely be a pretty big feels bad over on the side of Eleventy, especially since they won their first week matchup. They won against Tribe due to disqualification for screenshot errors. So having won their first week because of that, and then having issues on the team themselves last week, you would definitely expect them to have things a little bit more together this time around.
Yeah, and we do have Slasher slashing through the team going for the retake as Parka now all by himself up in the top side. He's going to slide the corner, but with a shotgun in hand, Slasher not going to struggle too much in that gunfight. It will be Strike Zone going up to a 2-0 lead, and I mean, they get the win in round 1 as a result of Eleventy not taking those screenshots. This could be an easy 2-0 for them if Eleventy doesn't turn things around. And as you can see, once again, we've got the aggressive B push by both teams. It's gone well pretty much every time for Strike Zone, and the nade going in could do some damage to Slasher. It's actually not going to land, but he's positioned really well to try to help his team defend. Envy takes some damage, got the sniper overlooking that mid area. 2 snipers currently in play, as Jason's got one out as well. And Eleventy's defense looking much, much stronger on this one, as they do have Alda pushed up a little bit further than they've had players in previous times. And you can hear one player actually sliding right across, and he plays that so very patiently. Somehow Hua still able to get a 2-piece. He doesn't even die. Hua doesn't even die. He was down to 5 HP. His teammates saved him right there. He's going to get the plant down as well. I don't understand how Eleventy just allowed that to happen, but Parka all by himself once again, as the defense has just fallen apart for Eleventy right here. Parka finds a frag, but Jason's across mid with a sniper in hand, and that's going to be a 3-0 lead for Strike Zone.
Yeah, that is exceptional play coming out of Strike Zone there. Hua, by all rights, should have been dead there. So we'll have to see what the game plan is for Strike Zone here, but it looks like, and I really do like this play from Strike Zone. However, it is consistently for a lot of teams after the 3rd round they switch things up. So that is something that you definitely have to be kind of prepared for if you are the side of Eleventy, or even just teams in the future, as well as it's pretty common for after a 3-round win, teams will switch things up on this map, and that has been the case here as well. So Strike Zone, 28 seconds remaining on the clock. Vaka actually able to pick up a strong kill there. That's going to give them a little bit of an edge. Envy picks up the return kill onto Zai, though. It's now 4 versus 4. 15 seconds on the clock. Eleventy need to find 4 kills, make it 2 as trades are going back and forth. It's just Parka and Just up against Hua and Jason, and there's not time on the clock, nor are there kills in the feed for Eleventy to clean that up. 4-0 lead now going over to the side of Strike Zone, and they have been just dominant here in Search and Destroy. And fortunately for them, again, this is quite often what we see is some teams will be good at Search and Destroy, some teams will be good at Respawn. So if Strike Zone are at least here for today, a search team, you know,
yeah,
pretty fortunate for them to have gotten the pickup there, just with a huge kill onto Hua there. It does look like we're going to get the free plant coming out of Strike Zone, but they will be down a player this time around. We'll have to see how that changes the equation, as Eleventy aren't making the rotations over. Can they put a stop to the momentum that has so far been Strike Zone?
Yeah, they've just, from what I can see, they've been waiting way too long to make the push in. We do finally see them applying a little bit of pressure, and Zai's going to find a really big snipe right there. That'll open things up big time, as he's now trying to keep players on the outside, and it's pretty much a wide open A site right here. He's going to go for the defuse, as I just realized everybody has dropped off for Strike Zone, and that was a really, really strong round for Eleventy, despite a lot of struggles on defense right there. And like we say, a lot of times things can be very, very lopsided when it comes to search and destroy on this map, just because there are very much offensively and defensively minded teams when it comes to retakes, plants, and everything else. We'll see if Eleventy can bounce back. And I do see people in chat complaining that Eleventy is going to forfeit the win as a result of not having screenshots. Keep in mind, Eleventy got 2-0'd by Tribe and still got the DQ win as a result of Tribe not submitting their screenshots. So even though that does affect them, at the same time, it's a rule for everyone, and they've also benefited from it greatly. So definitely not any type of unfairness going on here. We do have 2 players dropping off for Eleventy already. A hit marker from Zai, his teammate Alda able to clean it up right there. It's a 3v3 with 25 seconds for this strike zone team to go for the retake, and with Zai set up in the sniper's nest, they look like they're in a pretty good spot. One player actually moves over. I think it's going to be a defuse right here. Zai's going to get the frag right there, but Stress was able to get to the site in time. Strike zone wins another huge round right there, and that is going to be a 5-1 lead, putting Strike Zone at match point.
Yeah, this is a great position to be in if you are Strike Zone. As you mentioned, Bobby, you know, yeah, it sucks that a team has to, you know, take a DQ for not submitting the screenshots, but it's to protect the integrity of us requiring you to play on phone this season. I mean, it's to keep players from just sneakily just like, oh yeah, I'm playing on phone while they play on an iPad. So the screenshots are important for that reason. So just kind of keep that in mind, guys. It is to protect the integrity of the teams that follow the rules, as well as just the integrity of the organization itself in that of Mobile Mayhem. So Strike Zone are looking pretty strong here in the final round as well. This looks like it's going to be a 6-1 victory for Strike Zone, who will pick up the 2-0 win. And that is a great spot for Strike Zone to be in, bouncing back from Season 4, where they struggled an exceptional amount. I mean, they struggled in most weeks to even get points on the board. If I remember correctly, I think one of the weeks that they did get points on the board, they also had a DQ that week, so they lost the points that they got. So definitely glad to see a little bit more life coming out of them in both of these matchups, actually. I mean, what started to look like it was going to be Team Eleventy just taking a snowball victory in our hardpoint matchup on Summit was very, very close and down to the wire in the end. I think it was a 250 to 215, so just a 35-point difference there. They made excellent rotations, and then coming through into Search and Destroy here. Without the likes of Weru for the side of Team Eleventy, it does seem like Search and Destroy is just where they are going to struggle. So definitely got to see some consistency out of these players getting things together as far as their screenshots go, so that we can have the highest level of competition for you guys in our future matchups. But that's it for Strike Zone versus Eleventy. Strike Zone takes the 2-0 victory, which will send us into our last matchup of the night, which will be, I believe it's XSET up against NL. So that should be another really fun matchup for you guys. That is going to be XSET with the DRH band and NL with the Man of War band.
Yep, definitely gonna have a good final game. Eleventy just seemed to have that felt very similar to what happened with Fierce. Not that they necessarily fell apart and got 6-0'd, but Eleventy just didn't seem to have a really solid plan of what they were doing, either on offense or defense, and especially on Meltdown, Search and Destroy. That's something you've got to have squared away way ahead of time. So hopefully they'll be able to bounce back in future weeks. That will be a 2-0 win for Strike Zone. I'm not sure what that's going to do for our points, because taking a look at it right here, you can see okay, so I guess we gave Strike Zone 20. The reason I was confused about it is because when Tribe had the double DQ, Eleventy only got 10 points out of it, so I didn't know if that meant 5 points per DQ or whatever it is. And it looks like they got bumped back down right there, so it may be a different... I would assume they get 15 based on how we've done the scoring in the past, but not entirely sure on that one.
Yeah, we'll have to check with the mods on that. And just because, you know, again, we have people asking what the importance of the screenshot is. Uh, Essentially, what we're looking for is just making sure at the beginning and the end, as well as anytime a player disconnects and rejoins, that they are again protecting the integrity of Mobile Mayhem as a tournament, and making sure that they are playing on an appropriate device. So that is the important of the screenshots. We're basically making sure that the resolutions match that uh, of a phone device and not an iPad or another kind of tablet. So that is the importance of the screenshot and why teams are punished for missing them. And again, it's not that we accuse any of these players of making that. It's just the step in preparation that we take as a organization to ensure that all teams are held to the same standard. So it's the name of the game. Again, I expect that after a couple players from the team get one of these penalties, it should clean up. You would definitely expect Eleventy to have been here today, since they had missed screenshots in their matchups last week as well. So hopefully this will be the last week that we see any of that, because we're getting into week 3 here. This is kind of where new rules have really set in, and you expect teams to be used.
Yep, I believe we do actually have an interview, which means you guys will get to see something very interesting. So we have Day interviewing Forsaken, who has actually just joined Nova Imperium. I don't know anything about the specifics of the interview, and you and I will get to watch it for the first time at the same time. Without any more talking, we're gonna go ahead and hop into that.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first interview with professional players here for Mobile Mayhem. I'm Day, and I could not think of a better way to start things off than to have our MVP from both Season 3 and Season 4 of Mobile Mayhem, as well as one of the winners from Team Fierce in Season 4. So today we have Forsaken for you guys. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited to have you here. Uh, Obviously, catching up from the games last week, we saw you play for Zygnus, and you guys looked really, really good. Definitely going to be one of the exciting teams to watch this season. So glad to see you're making the transition well over the phone. I know through talking with you a little bit in the past, you kind of were a little bit comfortable playing on the phone before. So what's it like making that switch back?
Well, I got an iPad for like 3 months, and then we got the news that we had to go back to phone. But I think it's pretty easy for me since like previous games I always played on the phone, so I feel like the switch was pretty simple for me and all that.
Well, that's not too bad. And how did it feel to get MVP again in season 4, as well as getting first place in the same season?
It felt good because season 3 I got MVP, but we didn't win, so it really didn't mean much because I wanted to win because that's where the big prize was. But I'm glad that we were able to win this season or season 4, and I was able to win the MVP in the same season, so felt pretty good.
That's good. That's good. And how did the team react to coming in first place? I know a lot of you
Uh,
guys had to come in second place several times or finished in the top 3, so had to feel good for a lot of you guys to finally get that W.
Yeah, we were pretty excited because like you said, we've been second a lot, and we didn't want to win second again. We wanted to get first for the first time, in Mo Man. So we're pretty excited and happy that we finally got to break the curse because every other season we just couldn't finish the season out. So we're pretty happy.
Absolutely good to see you guys finally get that win. And since we're still pretty early in season 5, players still moving around, we're finally starting to see those locks go into place. As you know, we mentioned a little bit at the beginning of this. We see you guys, or you're playing for Zygnus now.
hmm
For season 4, who was your kind of biggest threat team? And then looking into season 5, as the rosters have refined a little bit, who do you think your biggest threat for season 5 is as well?
For season 4, probably was IFX or NL, which they got the org picked up by. They were pretty. They were constantly. We were playing against them all every time we played them was close games. Like constantly, just basically every season to be honest, because they were always a good team. And then season 4, I think feel like just playing them, beating them, and then beating them in the playoffs as well was a good thing for us because that was one of the hardest teams that we ever played. So I feel like beating them in the semis was just made the finals much easier. And then for season 5, I feel like Nova Esports, so they play FA champs last year. I feel like they're going to be a good team this year, coming that they're all on phone and had a lot of experience in the past. So I think they're going to be a good team this year that we might have to watch out for.
And that is the Nova Invictus roster you're talking about, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Desi abandoned them. Yeah,
Hmm.
they've definitely had some good games and some good showing here. It's been kind of a rough start for a lot of teams, and a lot of people are making those transition to phones. So I do agree, and a lot of the other players we've talked to have agreed as well that them having that experience on phone may give them a little bit of an edge early on in the season. But again, there's several players that we've seen, you included, that have made that switch back to phone or to phone that have just done exceptionally well. So it's really boiling up to be a pretty exciting season 5. Um, Obviously, we saw you last week play for Zygnus. Is that going to be your final team for the season?
I'm not sure yet. I feel like I'm still looking around because I feel like that I'm a good asset to a team. And I feel like I'm not really sure if I want to stick with that team for the rest of the season. So I'm not really sure yet, but there's a chance I might stick with them.
Well, I mean, you guys seemed to play pretty well last week. So obviously, again,
Hmm.
it's pretty early in the season. A lot of rosters could change. A lot of rosters are very different from last season. So there's definitely been some exciting gameplay, and we're excited to get you guys into those games. Kind of to round things out on a little bit softer of a note here, if you could give me your favorite map and possibly your favorite game mode as well, just a little bit of information for the viewers out there.
I think my favorite game mode probably be hardpoint because I feel like probably I think it's the longest game mode and it's like you get a lot of kills. Like it's always fast paced, going at each other, going for them hard points to get the most points and the most kills is fun. So I feel like that's like the most like entertaining game mode for people to watch and like for people to play as well.
And your favorite map?
Um, I like standoff. I feel like standoff since beta has always been like a good map. Everybody's played it forever, played it for years or a year at this point. I feel like it's just a traditional map that you can basically play any game mode on.
Nice, nice. And just since between me and you, obviously, this is the second time we did this interview because of some technical difficulties. Your
Yeah.
answer has actually changed over the past week. Before, I believe it was Hackney Yard and Domination. So, um, what changed throughout this week?
I just feel like I want to change it up. I wanted to say the same thing the last time. So I feel like changing it up a little bit. But like I said, like, standoff is a good map, and I feel like hardpoint and Dom are my favorites. So I feel like you can't really go wrong with either of those.
Yeah, as one of the top slayers in the league, I definitely expected both in the previous interview and this one that the respawn modes were going to be one of your favorites. So no surprise there, guys. But that is going to wrap us up for our first interview of Mobile Mayhem. Thank you so much, Forsaken, for joining us,
You're
and
welcome.
we're excited to see you play in Season 5.
See ya.
See you guys.
All right. That is it. And there it is. Day. The beautiful bald head, as you have all been waiting for, I know, all stream long. What's the story behind the bald head again?
So, my main job, I work at an auto shop, which is a family-owned auto shop. And my father has a tendency to take off to do something and then say he's going to be back on a certain day and then extend his vacation. We had a busy week lined up for today, so he was supposed to be gone Friday through Sunday, and I had a bet with my coworker that he would be responsible and be back for our busy week. And on Sunday, he called me and said he was going to stay in golf in Florida for a couple days. So the bet loss was that I had to essentially pull the Walter White look from Breaking Bad. So that's the goatee and the bald head. I don't quite have the forehead wrinkles, but yeah. So that's why we have that going on, guys. And then I promised you guys back in season 4, I think at the very beginning, that we would do the mustache. So when my week of Walter White punishment is over, we'll get rid of the beard and we'll do the mustache for you guys. And hopefully I'll have some hair by then.
Yeah.
So I don't just look extra horrible.
Well, I would say you pull off the Walter White pretty well. So if you want to do that for Halloween one day, you now know that you can pull it off. So there you go.
Boy.
We do have both of our teams loaded in, and they should be readying up soon. Game number 1, as I said last time on accident, is actually for this season. Hackney Yard. or not this season, this matchup. Hackney Yard Hardpoint for game number 1. We do have the DRH and the Man of War Band, as well as Hardpoint on Crash, and Hardpoint on, gosh, I always forget it, Scrapyard. Probably going to see a lot of ASM 10s in play, if I had to guess, as even though technically it got a little bit of a nerf this season, the 3-shot range decreased from 17 meters to 12 meters. Still very, very strong, and they actually, for some reason, decided to buff the no-stock attachment to give it more mobility as well as better ADS time. So even though it did get a little bit of a downside, it also got a little bit of an upside, and overall, 3-shot ARs still reign supreme in Call of Duty Mobile. Expect to see lots of them. I believe we have all of our screenshots submitted, so we should be good to go in just a second.
Oh boy, Bobby. Chat wants you to get the same haircut.
Chat,
I'm down.
I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and let you know that is not going to fly with Molly. People have asked about that before. It's just not going to fly. It's a non-negotiable for her.
Well, we are getting into our final matchup for the night. We have Exet, a reoccurring team here in our Mobile Mayhem seasons, as well as the side of NL, formerly Infinix, that are just a phenomenal repeat team over and over again. Hopefully Exet will switch some classes up here, because got 2 gravity spikes currently. It may be a speed class for these players. Hopefully they will fix that. There we go.
We actually have Silva.
Silva.
He's got the FR556 out, and also the newest operator. I can't actually, it's the gravity something, I don't know. It sucks people into a black hole. It's very, very interesting, and honestly could be really, really good for hardpoint. So I'm excited to see that come into play. A lot of HVKs over on NL, and it looks like Silva, I believe, still has it out right here. So honestly, I want to take a look at this just to see how it matches up against some of the other guns in the game. We do have Exet pushing on into the point and getting a little bit of scrap time right here, following NL with a really strong P1. Silva and team looking to get the break right here. Mango sends the nade to top side of P2, and Silva going to slide the corner, now looking to push up to the top. Mango's going to get the frag anyway, and just like that, Exet makes a pretty easy break out of P2.
Yeah, Exet definitely need to show up here. They're a team that we see individually they have the skill, but time and time again we definitely see them struggle quite a bit in the consistency department as a team. I do believe we have Silva with the FAMAS out here, so you wanted to see it, Bobby, and Silva brought it to the table. Will it be new meta? Will it be underperforming? Only time will tell.
Yeah, it looks pretty strong in the close range, at least. It struggled a little bit at long range, as we saw right there, but able to hold down the hard point for a decent amount of time. NL is able to get the break right there, and they'll be able to retake the lead following the Exet break pretty early on. Only one player pushed out for Exet right now, and more than likely going to be pulling back, as we do see Mangoes right there trying to work the heady, but Tatio just too good right there. 5 kills on the board for him, as well as for Cheto and Envoy. So even though the point's not too far off, NL definitely cooking in the kill department right now.
Absolutely, as we would expect out of NL, but Exet have been able to find really phenomenal rotations, and Silva whipping out. I'm going to struggle with the actual in-game name of it here, but
yeah, you can call it the FAMAS. It's the same thing.
Yeah, essentially for everybody, it is the FAMAS from previous games, but full auto. So we'll have to see how it ends up working out for him. As Bobby mentioned, it does seem to work quite well here in the close range matchup. Pretty high fire rate, but does seem to have maybe a little bit of an issue with recoil for the longer ranges, despite being an AR. We do have a couple kills coming in for the side of NL. They may be able to clean things out, but it is still Mangoes on the point. And Exet actually have a lead over over the side of NL currently, about 20 points. Excuse me. That lead shrinking a little bit here. Tio is going to get dropped by Silva there, and Xset are setting up strong for the next hard point. Silva finds 1, Silva finds 3. Big kills.
All right, so the FR556 may be entering the competitive meta right here as we see Silva frying out. He's going to pull out, I think it's like a gravity vortex or something. That effectively fires 2 shots, and if you get anywhere near where the shot lands, you will be sucked into a black hole and die. So obviously, going to be pretty useful when it comes to hardpoint. Right now, nobody from NL really getting anywhere close to the hardpoint as Mango's really cooking 14 kills on the board for him. And despite the fact that they are up at the top of the standings, NL struggling a lot in game number 1.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is not at all what you'd expect. I mean, they are pretty heftily in the lead of Division 1. Xset is a team that, again, we see the individual skill from these guys. Impulsive, a massive slayer. Mango's a massive slayer. Moralto, when he shows up, a great sniper in search and destroy. But we tend to struggle having them all bring their A game at the same time. Right now, looks to be the case for them. They are up 30 points over NL, which is absolutely not a team that it is easy to be ahead in, especially in Respawn with the likes of Tatio, Raven, Envoy, Fish have all been phenomenal slayers. Cheto as well, doing quite well with 11 kills on the board for himself currently. But about a 50-point lead, or actually about a 60-point lead now developed for Xset.
Yeah, I mean, NL has not been able to get anywhere close to the hard point so far. Xset has just played these to absolute perfection. We see Silva picking up another 2-piece right there, just absolutely cooking with the FR556, and they're set up really well to head into the end game right here, as it looks like leaving this one, they'll probably be within around 70 points of the victory. Meanwhile, NL yet to pass the 100-point mark. This is a team that, like we said, has struggled with consistency a little bit, but this season, top of the leaderboard and just hasn't been able to get anything going. They've been the first team to take out the content creator roster. I'm not supposed to say that. Apologies. What I meant to say was Trovo Mayhem, but we do have NL hopping on the hard point right here, and we do have Fish with the Tempest in hand looking to control this for the time being. And it's not going to happen as he gets shut down by Legacy.
And this Xset roster has come to life here today. There's not enough points on the board for them to win on the rotation into P1, but they absolutely are in a prime position where a P2 victory on the essentially the second lap could be possible for them. Again, Silva gun does seem to struggle quite a bit at range. The recoil, at least I don't know if it's based on attachments he may or may not have unlocked yet or tried out yet. We'll have to see as again things move on in the season. I mean, it seems like a pretty difficult gun to control over range, and I actually do like that in the sense we talked about it in the Eleventy matchup earlier. I would like to see players be able to pull together, typically what would be submachine guns for more of those up close gunfights on maps that justify it. Hackney Yard potentially could be one. A lot of these hard points are inside with really hard corners that the extra fire rate and close range potential could be absolutely devastating, and Silva is just bodying people left and right. 14 kills on the board. Mangoes and Legacy doing exceptional here on the side of Xset as well. 18 and 16 for each of them. Everybody on the side of NL doing well. Everybody pretty much in double digits with the exception of Tatio struggling a little bit with the move to phone. But overall, Xset, the rotations have been strong. Their gunfights have been strong in cases that we did not expect out of them. And similar to Nova Invictus, some of this could be boiled down to this team, for the most part, has been on phone, and I believe I heard, I haven't been able to confirm with the players themselves. I think Mangoes and Legacy were phone players anyway. So, just having that experience can really go a long way.
And we see Envoy right now just running through this Xset team. So despite the big lead that they had built, Xset coming back in a big way. They were able to get full time not only on P2, but they're set up perfectly for P3 as well. And Envoy's got a Pred missile in hand, which could set them up well to take control of P4. Absolutely beams Legacy out of the sky right there. 20 kills on the board. And despite a couple players moving into double digits pretty early for this Xset team, they have slowed down a lot. They've been losing a lot of gunfights. And since that beginning / mid-game, they just have not been able to make things happen. Envoy now on a cluster strike, 23 kills. He's going to go ahead and call in the Pred missile just so he doesn't overlap it right there. And right now, NL looking like they could very well make this comeback happen.
Yeah, they absolutely could, and I wouldn't hold it against them whatsoever. They're a team that is reoccurring at the top of the open season. And again, somehow this team, even though they pick up new players every season, they seem to pick up players that just, I mean, they just mesh right in uncontested. And what was looking like a really big NL comeback may have just been stunted. But as I say that, Cheto and Envoy pick up a couple kills, but Meralto and Impulsive answer back. Impulsive finds another. Silva finds a kill onto Tio as well. This is now Xset just within 10 points of picking a victory here. And what I would consider to be a pretty sizable upset. This is looking shy of a miracle, like an Xset victory over NL here, which if you would have asked me leading up into this, I would not have expected that to be coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, going into this, I'm not going to say I assumed it would be a 2-0, but for Xset to take a game away from a team that's that high on the leaderboard, especially this early in the season, it is pretty surprising. So we do see Silva actually top fragging right there with the new FR556. So it looks like it will be competitively viable, at least to a certain extent. Keep in mind, he was on the hill for 3 minutes and 47 seconds, so he was getting that little extra bonus points, but at the same time, looking like, especially in the close range, it will absolutely shred, like you mentioned, a pretty significant amount of recoil, and if I was looking correctly, I believe he had the Ranger foregrip, which is one of the largest vertical recoil decreasing attachments, so if it's got that much recoil with the Ranger foregrip, probably not going to be something you use at range, but very similar to the Type 25 that has a fast rate of fire and has the ability to win a lot of close-range gunfights. Could be something that works very similarly to an SMG and could very well become a part of the meta.
Yeah, we'll have to see again. It's kind of first day. The patch is still fresh. I mean, it's a little bit of a shock that we even have players with that far in the battle pass already, but you know, obviously Silva has picked it up and seems to like it. So as more players get it available to them, I would at least expect players to be experimenting with it, right? Whether we see people fully commit, whether it becomes meta, you definitely expect some players who prefer some of that run and gun style to be able to whip it out. Because again, the fire rate really promotes those up close gunfights, but struggle substantially in the range. I mean, there's plenty of opportunity in that game where we saw Silva where we're like, man, if that would have been an HVK or a DRH or anything else in the assault rifle category, that would have been an easy pickup, but you just could not find the bullets to connect past kind of a mid-range point. Xset come through with a strong win over NL Esports, 250 to 215. It's going to push us into Search and Destroy, which I would expect NL to perform a little bit better in Search and Destroy, but man, if Xset are going to play like this, I could be wrong twice in this one matchup. So
yeah, and this is a team, like, keep in mind, this is a team that came in second place in the COD Mobile Championships for Stage 4. So it's not like this is a bottom-tier team, especially when it comes to phone. You expect this to be one of the top teams, and Tribe being the only one that really, like, obviously, Tribe was very dominant in COD Mobile Champs, but Xset took out some of those top teams. They took out that Nova Invictus team that you saw with relative ease, so we've expected big things out of them for a while, and it feels like we're finally starting to see them meet some of those expectations. Obviously, the additions of Mangoes and Legacy has been really big for them, and it looks like this team is starting to mesh really well, and could potentially put themselves at the top of the top phone teams as far as right now. We are waiting for one more NL player to get loaded in, and we'll be good to go for Search and Destroy on firing range. Just based on how we saw the FR556 play right there, I'm guessing we probably won't see it make an appearance, especially with the number of long angles that you have on firing range, but for some of those smoke pushes and other things like that, could definitely be viable as well, so we'll have to wait and see.
Oh boy, some people are just now seeing the weld. Yeah, it's been a exciting day. Definitely exciting to see XSET come through here. And I love chat for the fact that, when we were doing the qualifier games, everybody was like, man, XSET shouldn't even be here. XSET shouldn't be in Mobile Mayhem anymore. And then as soon as they start winning, everyone's like, dang, XSET good.
That's the way chat goes. They have no loyalty. They cheer for the winner.
They cheer for whoever is on top at the time.
That is their only loyalty.
Absolutely no shame.
They were cheering for Fierce when they were winning the championship, and then when they got 6-0'd in Search and Destroy, oh, Fierce sucks. We hate Fierce. They're the worst.
Mitch, it is not a filter. My hair is gone, bud. My hair is gone. Promise you it's gone. No filter. Lost a bet.
That would be like a really high quality filter, I tell you what.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
My hair is absolutely gone, and it is very, very cold in Michigan with no hair.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. It was 16 degrees today.
Whew. It was a nice toasty 50 in Charlotte today.
50 would be like summer right now. I
Or
think last year during winter we had like a 100-degree flip. It was like with the wind chill, -50 on Saturday and Sunday, and then it was 48 on Monday.
oh my gosh.
So yeah, it was wild winter last year, and then this year has been pretty okay. This week has been cold, but we haven't had too much snow. Hasn't been super cold. It's been high 30s, low 40s, but still cold. Still cold, especially when you have no hair.
Yep. It's I feel like this is like the warmest winter that Charlotte's had. We haven't even had like a prediction of snow. Like usually we get like 3 or 4 predictions that it's going to snow, and then we're always disappointed because it's like 4 snowflakes on top of like 5 hours of rain. Nobody's even predicted that it was going to snow yet. It's just been rain. And honestly, as somebody that enjoys the cold, I would like to be able to go out in the snow one time. So I know you're probably sick of the snow because you live in Michigan, but just
we haven't
one
had
time.
it too much, but
Really?
like realistically for me, it could be sunny and 75 year round, with the exception of like maybe December 15th to January 15th would be like the perfect month for snow, right? Like you
Yep.
get that Christmas and New Year's snow, and then man, January 15th comes, boom, I'd love it to be back sunny and 75. Get the motorcycle out. Motorcycles not super favorable in the winter here, so.
Yeah, that makes sense. Can't you just put the chains on the motorcycle wheels and go take it for a spin?
That would be pretty sketch. Pretty sketch. I actually used to have a dirt bike that I had a studded tire set for the lake, but that has been quite a while.
Yeah.
I have street bikes now, and that would not be smart.
All right.
But we are here getting into our search and destroy matchup. Excuse me. Between NL and XSET on firing range. So a map that both of these teams are very familiar with from our previous Mobile Mayhem seasons, and obviously even prior to Mobile Mayhem, this is a reoccurring map in several Call of Duty games at this point. It is a fan favorite firing range.
Yep, and it looks like Mangoes may still be rocking the FR556 as we see him making that push up to the mid area outside of 10. They have Impulsive with the sniper in hand trying to hold down Trailer, and you can hear the audio of the full-on squad push on to this B site. Mango's trying to hold that down right now. You can see Envoy with the sniper scope looking through the doorway. He's going to find the first frag right there and tries to escape, but Fish says, get back here. That's going to be first blood going in for both teams. Fish actually hit markering through the little peak on the bottom side of firing range. And right now everybody trying to clear out that bottom area so that Envoy can get the bomb down. Meralto trying to find an angle, but he's not able to do it. Envoy gets the plant, the RPG not in the right spot. Meralto not able to land the snipe, and very nearly has the shot onto Fish through that little peak, but not going to be able to land that either. The pressure is on for Xset right here as Meralto, he's just the king of the wallbang. He's going for all these off-angle wallbang spots that I didn't even know were possible. Now looking to make the push on in. I believe Fish still holding down the inside angle, and no surprise to see Cheto picking up all the snipes right there. Meralto finally able to get the trade, but he's got to get 3 more people on top. Does find the frag onto Fish, but not able to find the last 2. And it is NL going up to the 1-0 lead.
Absolutely, NL coming through with a strong, what started off as a strong lead in Search and Destroy. Xset obviously able to pick up a couple kills. As you mentioned, Meralto looking for wallbangs left and right. 2 kills on the board for him. Again, this Xset team has the players and has the skill level to compete at the top of Mobile Mayhem. It's just mostly for them been a consistency issue. So maybe Season 5 is where they clean things up again. Everybody being on phone now. Maybe a little bit more of a even playing field, I guess, is the way to put it. But I don't even honestly know how Meralto got that kill. I don't know. He's probably desync on spectator, but there was nobody in the crosshair.
I was laughing at Envoy just crawling his way across that bottom angle so that he didn't get sniped. Because from the opposing angle, he just looked like a little sneaky little snake crawling his way across. Silva tries to find a couple frags here. Envoy shuts him down quick. NL now with the 2-man advantage, and once again, Meralto, last man alive, finds a big frag once again. A little spectator glitch right here as his scope is way off to the side. Hopefully that fixes itself, and it does. Not going to be able to find the wall bang right there. Still looking to make it happen. 1 player on the backside. He gets concussed right there. That's going to be an easy frag for Tatio. NL takes the 2-0 lead off the start.
Yeah, it's a 2-0 lead for NL. Again, you would expect them coming into Search and Destroy to perform a little bit better here. Despite, again, they have players that are really phenomenal slayers, but overall this team is just really strong at Search and Destroy and have been for quite some time. So we'll have to see if they're able to keep that trend alive, potentially push us to a Game 3 here, because, again, coming into today, based on previous seasons, I would consider the Xset versus NL matchup to have been a little bit of an upset on hardpoint, but again, this is a team that performed exceptionally well in COD Champs. They've been playing on phone, so maybe this is just their time to shine. We do have Raven picking up a kill onto Impulsive there. Really big pistol whip. Shadow,
wow,
no questions asked. Able to find Meralto even through the top of the smoke there. Legacy does get a literal frag onto Tio. And Raven actually with the FAMAS out as well.
Yeah, Legacy not going to be able to win that one, and I believe it's actually a cross-map FAMAS kill right there, as we do have NL closing things out once again and showing that it might actually have a little bit of versatility. 6 kills on the board already for Raven to lead all players, and once again pushing aggressively on over to that A site. He's got the HVK back out again. I think he may have actually picked it up off of Mango's body, and it's actually Legacy getting the first blood right here as the A push has been immediately shut down. Silva pulling it out as well, and right now Xset off to a very strong start. 2 players down for NL. Impulsive does get dropped off, but with a man advantage and no real map control for this NL team, Xset set up pretty well to get their first round win. Silva on the inside of trailer holding down that tight angle, and right now NL just trying their hardest to find a pick right here to open things up a little bit, but Envoy not able to find anybody. Fish not able to find anybody. Tatio just waiting for somebody to push that A angle. He's going to see if he can send out a nade right here and maybe find one. He actually is going to put it away as he's now waiting to throw onto the inside of trailer. Trophy systems there waiting for him. Nothing going for them right now. And right now, NL needs to make a push of some kind if they're going to be able to get a plant down. You see the concussion going over top right here. Silva still on the inside of trailer and actually making the rotation over to wood. Not sure if I love this mood, is that pretty much leaves the A site wide open for NL. No real contest, and despite the fact that there's only 30 seconds and they're a man down, it is going to be a free A plant going in for NL, so the pressure is on once again. Envoy finds the frag onto Mango. Silva barely staying alive on the backside of wood right here, and he's going to be forced to counter-rotate as well, taking more shots from Envoy. Players dropping left and right, and he's all by himself. Does land a few shots onto Envoy, but not able to handle the recoil, and that's going to be a 4-0 lead for NL off the start.
NL in a prime position to push us into a Game 3. I know we were trying to, but haven't done it yet. Do you perhaps want to try to get any of the voice counts for some of these teams?
I forgot about that. Yeah. Let's go for a listen-in. We don't have an official name for the listen-in, but we'll go ahead and do it anyway. Just because I believe it'll all be English, we'll go for a listen-in with Xset.
Bathroom still.
They're throwing it.
Nothing jungle so far?
Bathroom.
They're not gonna push on them. Most likely they're gonna try to get the picks off more.
Alright, there is.
I'm dead, bro.
Wait,
I'm gonna
cover
try to
me,
Kobe them real quick.
cover me.
Trailer.
Entry.
Maybe
Bro, I mean, like,
Okay.
Okay, smoke each other right now. Hold up. I'm gonna try and get him outside.
Okay, I got one about wood window. Hold on.
Yeah, no, they have to.
Behind, FP. I need help. He's FP.
One's my bathroom.
Look and see.
Bathroom.
come on.
Bathroom.
Yeah.
He's half.
Wait, what?
they should just push them also. All to go.
Nice.
Nah, we gotta stop peeking on this. We're just giving them open picks.
Of course I hit market this guy too, dude. Too many hit markers, bro. Motherfuckers.
GG.
Alright, whatever.
What's the tone?
Let's do picks this round again. Just try to play it slow.
These guys are way too aggressive to be passive against them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you can see, not a whole lot of things going the way of Xset the past few rounds. A little bit of discouragement as they got a little quiet there at the end, but we'll see if they can bounce back. We do have Meralto dropping off the start once again, and definitely not a good sign for them, as it could very well be a 6-0 following a really solid win for them in hardpoint. So they're going to need to find something. Really, Meralto and Legacy have been the only players to get anything going. Mango, Silva, and Impulsive, none of them above 1 kill. And to see Impulsive down at 0 is not something we expect to see at all. And they're going to need to see things out of him if they're going to be able to win this round.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that was at least some coherent some coherent listen-in. I remember the tribe listen-in from back in Champs. That was basically not English, so reminded of that clip a little bit there, just in concept. But NL currently up 5-0, looking for the 6-0 sweep. Cheto making that much more possible as he picks up the kill onto Mangoes there. I absolutely expect to see chat now flip back the opposite. They were giving Xset some praise that Xset was good now, and don't let me down, chat, or you probably won't anyway, but absolutely expect to see you traders throwing them under the bus now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was pretty dominant, and you got to attribute that to Mango, Silva, and Impulsive all stuck down at 1-1 and 2 kills. You're just not going to be able to. It's not all about winning the gunfights, but you got to win some of them, and that was completely dominant over toward NL, as they pretty easily took the win right there. And With that in mind, it's going to be difficult to predict what the outcome of Game 3 is going to be, because you had Xset with the win in Respawn, NL with the win in Search and Destroy, but snipers played a really big role, and Meralto the only sniper in play. Meanwhile, you had Cheto, Envoy, and Fish all getting picks at various times, really opening things up to make things easy for this NL team. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this one closes out.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be an exciting Game 3 ahead of us. So far, Xset showed really a lot of dominant prowess in the Respawn NL. Obviously, a 6-0 sweep in Search and Destroy. I mean, again, going into this matchup, we expected NL to perform better in the Search and Destroy matchup, and they absolutely did not hold back here. Meralto able to pick up 5 kills for himself, and then looking down at the rest of the team, Legacy 4 and 6, Mangoes 2 and 6, Xset, Silva 1 and 6, and Impulsive 1 and 6 as well. Definitely a rough game set of games here for the side of Xset, at least as far as Search and Destroy goes. Again, they had a really such a strong showing in Hardpoint on Hackney Yard, however. And again, this is a team that we saw struggle all Season 3, all Season 4. So for them to come through and take a win off of NL here, no matter how Game 3 goes, I think that absolutely is a pretty sizable message moving forward for teams that are going to face off against them. Is you can't sleep on Xset just because they did poorly in previous seasons, because the whole game has changed now that everybody is on phone. So just something to keep in mind.
Yep, it looks like we've got most of our players ready up. I saw a lot of requests for NL comms, so we'll hop into their voice chat in the final game and just see what their comms sound like. I might not be able to understand it, but I'm sure they will be fantastic, as this is a team that's not all of them have been together for that long, but Tatio, Envoy, and Cheto, that core, have been playing together for a really, really long time, and I'm sure it'll be an absolute beauty to hear.
Definitely should be a fun one. Yep, Sylvia, indeed. Chat was called out. Absolutely called out. But definitely looking forward to this next matchup. Again, I'd like to see Xset be able to push at least a close, even game out of Game 3 here. They did phenomenal in that Hackney Yard matchup. So, wow, that was actually really fast for our admins to get everything there together for that.
Claps in chat for admins.
Yeah. And actually, while we're loading in, I do believe it's Splinter's birthday. So,
Phil's birthday, man.
Yeah, happy birthday, Splinter. Speaking of admins.
Yep. Everybody type happy birthday Splinter in chat. Thank you.
Splinter does a lot of work for the Mobile Mayhem crew here, guys. So make sure you give him that big shout out and show him some love.
And we are good to go. Hopping into our final game of the night to see who's going to win the match right here. We got Silva pushing topside. Very nearly had a deadly triple kill and just barely get shut down by Tatio. He's going to be able to take control of top control center right here, and his teammates finishing up the C cap. A very heavy bottom side push along the catwalk for Xset. Tatio trying to find an angle onto him. He's going to get the assist and the kill right there, and looking like that's going to open things up over onto B for NL, as Legacy does get shut down by Raven. Silva, the only player above 1 kill right now, as once again Xset is struggling off the start. We'll see if he's going to be able to push in and maybe open things up as he finds another one onto Fish. And right now, FR556, at least in the close range, looks like it is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Just waiting for somebody to make the push across. Unfortunate timing right there, but it actually ends up getting the hipfire kill as well. And this man is frying 6 kills on the board, and that's actually going to open things up for Xset to get some time over onto B.
Yeah, and currently NL do have control of B, and they're definitely looking to maintain it. Legacy making the push in, unable to find the kill though, as Tatio is going to light up a couple on the board. and that will buy a little a little bit of time back in favor of NL, who are actually filling up the feed right now. As I don't think I've seen an X-Set kill for the past like 30 or 40 seconds. As we do have Mangoes finally picking up a kill on to Fish there. About a 10-point lead currently for NL. Raven up at 9 kills on the board already. Silva, as you mentioned, with Moss out, rocking it as well. 7 kills for him, trying his best to keep his team on in this one. Keep in mind, guys, we are up to 100 points per round for Season 5 with a 300 or 300 time limit? Yeah, 300 time limit for the rounds, so definitely be keeping an eye on that. We also have persistence bans, so if score streaks rule the second half of domination, it will be because they were earned. No more just buying out time and getting kills in round 1, so just things to keep in mind as we do have Legacy actually picking up a big kill over to Tio there. Might be an opportunity for Xset to move in, but with a slight triple cap going in favor of NL there and able to maintain the double, you would definitely expect NL to go into the second half with a pretty sizable lead, unless if Xset are just massively able to turn things around here. Also, Zim, I saw you take advantage of the fact that you're here in chat with us and totally steal the thunder of wishing happy birthday to Splinter. I'm on to you.
Can't believe you would do that. I'm so disappointed in you. I'm never playing Warzone with you again. SMH, my head. Anyway, we've got NL back over on C, taking control right there as they do get the B cap, or the double cap, back in their control. Raven actually with a Pred missile on deck, 14 kills on board for him, leading all players right now, and NL remains in control of this game as Xset has really just not been able to get anything going. A big kill right there for Meralto as the C flag is relatively open, but he's got to contest with a couple more players. Trying to slide the corner right here to get the frag, but NL already repositioned and could find a frag onto Raven right there, just not getting the timing. Mangoes actually gets a big 2-piece with the FR556, and that's going to be a very strong first half for an NL team that seems to be on a rampage right now.
It does seem to be the case with a 44-point lead going into the second game between these two teams. We're just 5 minutes or less away from closing things out for our final game of the night. It's looking like NL are going to potentially be able to take a 2-1 victory. Now, while there's obviously a lot of potential as well for Xset to turn things around, with the matches extended, we've actually seen it a couple times, guys, where neither team hits the 200 points. It's going to be if Xset can take the lead at this point before the clock runs out. Even with a double cap, it's going to be really rough. And with B being held off for so long, there is a lot of potential that even though we have a double cap going for side of Xset right now, it may boil down to the timer at the end, but there's a double cap coming in through NL as they take C and B. Legacy unable to find the gunfight up against Raven and Fish up top. Raven fragging out hard, 19 kills on the board for him. Legacy up at 15. Silva started this game out absolutely killing it for the side of Xset, and it's kind of hit a little bit of a wall. I mean, in the first minute, he had like 6-7 kills on the board. Here we are into the second half. He's only got 10, so definitely struggling a little bit there on the side of Xset. They are currently down about 50 points, so not a great spot to be in with only 3.5 minutes left on the clock. We're able to get the triple cap stopped, but Raven with a triple kill with the Pred missile is definitely making things incredibly difficult for the side of Xset here. And they just cannot find the momentum they need. Envoy with a massive triple kill over the side of Xset there, and Tio picking up a double as well. That's a massive team wipe from the side of NL. And I don't know if there's time on the clock at this point, shy of getting a triple cap now and holding it, for Xset to come back. And That's a triple cap now for NL. This one might be lights out, Bobby.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that's probably going to mark the end of the road. Tio actually pulls out his operator and not able to get anything out of it right there. Silva immediately knocked off the C flag. It is Xset with the triple cap remaining in their control, and especially with what you talked about, the time limit being a factor, I don't think it is possible for Xset to pull off the comeback, even if... Oh, yeah, let's hear the comms.
Yeah, we did tell chat we would.
All right.
Oh, no, me mató con el F, no. Enfóquense, vaya.
¿Cómo no se suicidó, loco?
En el punto. Stop. Está bien.
¿Qué nos pasa?
Ya, váyanse.
Ese pendejo.
Estoy aquí. No, picos, no. Está bien.
Está lento. Venga, loco.
Buena. Tomen, buena.
No, en conector.
Calmados.
En verde. Va para medio.
Estaba.
Muertos. No, está un tiro, güey. Vamos, C.
Van a cambiar spawn, váyanse. Estoy en C, güey, estoy en C.
Se puede salir de aquí,
Todavía tenemos A.
Hay que pushar, nos van a comer.
¿Se meten a la
No, está bien. Calmados. Está bien.
Váyanse todos, yo tengo spawn de algo.
En amarillo.
Well, in the midst of our listening, we actually had a triple cap go into play for Xset right there. So we see them definitely making a really good fight to come back in this one. But like we said earlier, you got to think of the actual time factor in this as well. Even were they to be able to hold the triple cap for full time, I'm not sure if they would actually be able to make the comeback happen. You can see they are taking upward right now, but they do need the triple cap to go into play. And it is going to be B going back into control for NL. We see Envoy marching on in with that Goliath in hand. The trophy system is down, which means it's going to be that much more difficult to shut it down. And even with Legacy finding the frag onto Tio, not much of a shot for this Xset team to pull off the comeback. We do see the Goliath destroyed, but it's going to be too little, too late. Legacy doing everything that he can, 26 kills on the board. But it is going to be NL coming out on top in our final match of the night.
That was an exceptional showing to close things out from NL there, but I do want to say, despite that first half being largely in favor of NL with a 44-point lead, and then as well getting a triple cap very early on and holding it for a fair amount of time in that second half, there was definitely a lot of showing coming from Xset there as well, where they were able to turn around a triple cap and get a double cap out of it. There just wasn't time or points on the board for them to make the comeback. But again, for them being a team that has struggled so much in previous seasons to come through with an incredibly strong set of games here up against the side of NL, shy of the blowout search and destroy, which, I mean, again, we expect out of NL at this point. They are so strong in search and destroy. But I mean, Xset definitely things looking up for them, and hopefully we'll get some more screen time with them in the near future to see just really where they stand in the competition, because there's still quite a bit of season ahead of us, Bobby.
Yeah, that was a really strong finish by NL, and that's just something that we see from them sometimes, that they have these random games in the middle of the season where they just don't show up for a game and they end up dropping one, but we saw them bounce back. They always seem to bounce back. Even if they don't necessarily get the plus 20, they bounce back and at least manage to get the match win, as we see them do. As they're very dominant in search and destroy and struggled a little bit in the late game, but had things locked down pretty much from the start of the second half. So that was a great performance from them. Thank you to both of our teams for our listening. That was a blast, and definitely looking forward to doing more of those throughout the season. And we will take a look at our standings real quick as we get ready to outro the stream. But we do appreciate everybody watching. We will be back on Thursday. Go enjoy the new season. Let us know your thoughts on Twitter at Mobile Mayhem GG, I believe. I think that's the correct tag. I'm not 100% positive, but
I think it is, yeah.
That's going to be it for the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Day, for casting with me. Thank you to our admins for making everything run smoothly and the players for playing. We will be back with you guys on Thursday, but until then, hope you guys have a good day, a good couple of days, and we will see you guys then.